Can't. I forgot how to do the chat box. So I'm gonna try to get it from the YouTube side of things. Um. um, okay, live. I am the worst fucking live streamer of all time. Okay. Can't. I forgot how to do the chat box. So I'm gonna try to get it from. Alright, I gotta mute that. Pop out chat. Okay. Bear with me. Okay. Okay. Pop out. Okay. Let me know. Somebody type something. Wanna see, make sure I could actually read comments. Man, don't tell me I gotta do this on OBS. I forgot how I did it last time. This is so stupid. How the fuck did I do that? Configure studio mode? No. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, so somebody just wrote, okay, Richard Keene. Okay, yeah. All right, so I could read your comments. Good Lord, I suck at this. All right. So somebody said that the Motorsport Games respond, well, they released a comment. This is from 3 hours ago. So it came out around the same time that I released the other video. So I'm going to skim through this article. And while I do that, I'll be trying to keep up with the comments. So yeah, this whole IndyCar has been it for me with MSG. Yeah, well, I mean, if anybody who still thinks Motorsport Games is gonna do anything is delusional. I do have one or two people that are always, in all the videos, they're always telling me that, oh, they said they're gonna release this, they're gonna do that. This is nothing but a part of their um, roadmap, right? They say nothing's changed. They're still telling you a date. They're doing is biding time. That's it. They're biding their time. They're dragging their feet because the worst thing Motorsport Games can do right now is to admit that it's going to collapse at some point. They want to keep up appearances, so that's all they're doing. Hey, what's up, JC? How you doing, man? Um, yeah. So, oh, thank you. That's high praise indeed. In the good words of oh fuck that, Nicolas Cage. I don't know if you got that, but whatever. Yeah, this is a crazy day. Now IndyCar is in the mix with the, they're going to go through the same shit that NASCAR fans have been going through for a while. So let me see, cancer. Yeah, become a cancer. There are cancer everywhere. Let's see, there be no NASCAR in the game. Mark my word. Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't. There's no reason if they really were working on a NASCAR game. I mean, seriously, right? They might have a handful of people trying to cobble something together, but a legitimate new game, they would at least give us information. The best thing that Motorsport Games can do, just to get people uh, to kind of go along with them and feel some confidence as a consumer, is to give us information. At least something that shows, hey, here's a screenshot. We're working on adding this to the game. And this is how this game is going to be different from 21 Ignition. Here are the things we're changing. This is what we're working on. I'm not saying they have to hold our hands and walk us step by step through every process of game development, but you got to show people something. Something legitimate that you can look at and say, look, this is what we're doing. And at least people, okay, now I have an idea what your plan is. They don't show anything, they don't say anything, so I have to assume there's no plan. The plan here is to drag their feet as long as they can and try to drive up the asking price. This is, I think, just a market, a way for them to uh, boost their position, their bargaining position with iRacing. iRacing is the only real player, okay? And iRacing already said they're working on something. So there is something here that is confusing. So I'm not really sure what's going on. I don't follow the IndyCar side of things, so it's interesting. But this idea that they're working on that next NASCAR game, it's like, could you at least give us something tangible? Just show it the same way they showed us that roadmap. Well, show us a roadmap for this game, just for this next NASCAR game, and show us what you're doing. Give us a screenshot or two, or at least a blueprint of what you're planning to do. And how are you going to make this happen? They can't give you anything. It's all bullshit. Be ready for 15 DLC updates for NASCAR 21 next year. I'm telling you, I couldn't care less about this fucking NASCAR 15 DLC. I keep telling people the worst thing you can do is to spend your money. Why would you give these people a dime? All you're doing is helping this, this dragging their feet. You're helping them. We don't want to help them. You want to help them die off. That's what we need to do as a community. Nothing of quality to show. They rather you buy it and find out. Yeah, but that's my point. There's nothing. If you have something to show people just to get their excitement level up, that's marketing 101. You tease people with something. They have nothing. And remember, they talked about this next game, this Phantom game, way back last April. April or March. I don't remember. So supposedly they had started work on this game all the way back last spring. But then at the end of this NASCAR season, they came out and they were after they released that stupid DLC for Ignition, they said, "Oh, now we're starting to work on the next game." So they basically lied then. Somebody lied about when they actually started working on the next NASCAR game. So I was under the impression the whole time that, okay, they started working on the next game last spring. But then they tell us like they just started in November. So they're full of shit. Why would anyone believe these people that they're actually going to continue forward with their plans? There's not going to be an Indy fucking game. I'm just telling you, no IndyCar game. This is another, I think they're just playing games. They're trying to drive up the asking price for iRacing. And iRacing has no, I don't know, man. It's like their exclusivity deal, it's going to finish in a few days. So they are kind of in a bind. So now it's a game of chicken. I think. I'm just getting that vibe. This is just speculation. I don't really know all the details behind the scenes. I don't. But I got a funny feeling that that's all this is. It's a game of chicken. Who's going to blink first? And Motorsport Games has nothing to lose. So they already suckered IndyCar into giving them an exclusivity deal just like NASCAR. So why would they just hand over the license? I think they're just fucking playing games. They're going to hold on as long as they can and keep bullshitting people. And hopefully iRacing blinks and just says, "Okay, we'll offer you this." So they don't really need to do anything on the NASCAR side of things. I hate to break it to people. They don't need to try to force anything. But with IndyCar, I'm not sure. I'm not sure because from what I hear, the people on the IndyCar side of the community, they're going ape shit right now. And all I can say is, I feel for you. I know what it feels like if you're an IndyCar guy. Welcome to the club. So there's a saying, misery loves company. And, you know, now it's not just the NASCAR community. Uh, welcome to the club. And I'm not happy about it, but I don't know, man. I'm gonna go through this article in a second. Let me see. 1,000 views from doing a video about the half-ass rivals update. So I'm kind of happy about that. How about you? Well, I'm glad. Um, I don't get a lot of views no matter what. So I try not to pay attention to that. Uh, so, but I'm glad for you. I did see the beginning of the video, and I'm at work. Don't tell anybody. But I didn't get a chance to finish watching it. But I will when I get a chance. I'll go back and check it out. I just, man, I hope these people make no money from any of this. I just want them to fucking die already. So let's start looking at the article. A Motorsport Games unreleased IndyCar game is blocking iRacing's Indy 500. Now, from what I understand, I think this has more to do with the broadcast of like these esports events and specific events from iRacing. I don't because I'm not part of any of that stuff. I can't tell you more than that, but I don't know if it affects the existing content. Um, I don't know. This is weird how this is working out. Exclusive licenses suck, but they pretty much run the world. Last year, Motorsport Games announced it was acquiring the IndyCar license from 2023 onward. It also announced it would release the first IndyCar game in 2023. Yeah, right. Since the news broke in July 2021, we've seen a handful of very bare screenshots of a Dallara chassis. And the game's been delayed to 2024. I don't trust those screenshots, to be honest. Like I said in another video, I think you can take a screenshot and polish it, and really, you won't know where it originally came from. It could be something out of R Factor. And just doing a chassis, it's like, to me, that doesn't prove that the game is deep in development. I still think everything is just on the drawing board. So, get you a link. It affects the cars and branding. Thank you, McDonald. That's Jay McDonald, right? Um, I believe we've been in a few races together on iRacing. Uh, yeah, thank you for all the information. Nevertheless, iRacing, which has operated a virtual IndyCar series of its own for many years, will reportedly have to shut that down starting in January. Streamers won't even be able to broadcast sessions featuring any of the Dallara machines from the game. So does that include just private leagues that broadcast like on the internet streaming? Not just official sanctioned iRacing events? Because that sucks. I think if you own content that exists in the game, you should be able to broadcast and run. I don't know, man. That stuff is above my head, but it sucks ass from what I see. Tweeting a community. Okay, that's the tweet that I got. Okay, this is what I did a video on. Uh, while we are still working on finalizing a new license with IndyCar, it is clear there will be some notable changes. Okay, I read all that in my other video, but yeah, they're still working on finalizing a new license. That's where I'm kind of uh, confused. It's coming to an end, so they're trying to work on something, but they already said that Motorsport Games has an exclusive license. So I don't understand. Those two statements kind of conflict. So, the exclusivity I thought wipes out any chance of iRacing working on a deal. Like I don't I'm a little confused on that. Thank you. I'll check out the Twitter later. Um, all right. Okay, look, this is because I don't get involved. Like I when I do iRacing, I just jump in and do regular races. I would like to be part of a league. There's a lot that goes on with that stuff that I don't really know much about. I've been in one league since I joined iRacing. I did a season of that. I really enjoyed it. But I haven't had the chance to really find another league. I would like to. I think it does add a lot to the experience. But man, my work schedule is crazy, and it has to be something for like either Thursday or Friday nights or something like that. So it's tough. But I do plan on maybe trying to find a league. I have seen some of the NR NASCAR iRacing League stuff from IDK Player, and that stuff I have to admit he does a real good job with that stuff and the announcing. He's a natural for that, and I'm actually quite surprised at how cool and how well done that broadcast is. So I haven't seen a lot of it, but I have, browsed it from time to time, and it's impressive. And it just looks like a cool thing. I would love to be a part of that. Another thing that I've mentioned in the past is like it would be cool to be in a league that's broadcast that involves other YouTubers and people in the social media space, like all the other YouTubers, What If Racing and all these other guys. Imagine having a league with just those guys. I would love to be a part of that. That would be cool. I'm surprised I haven't heard of anything like that, but that would be a cool thing to see and be a part of. And then you get all the supporters of those YouTubers watching, and I just think that would be a cool thing. Like that's something that really would excite me. Um, I mean, we don't have a fucking decent NASCAR game to really mess with. And I'm not going back to NASCAR Heat 5 because, like I said, I'm not going to support this company. I'm not going to do it. So, okay. Thank you. Hello to you too, Tanner. I have a league for you whenever you're ready. Clean, solid racing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, I don't have a lot of options. Like it has to be on a particular night, and I don't want to, the league that I was a part of, I did enjoy it, but I was a bit in over my head. Like these guys they were just better racers. I did have a couple of strong races. I was running. I remember I ran really strong at Pocono, and then I got fucking obliterated. So it's like the couple of races I was really competitive. I got fucking caught up in a wreck, and the other races it was just tough. Like these guys are really tough. So yeah, I mean, I guess beggars can't be choosers. So any league I could be a part of, I'll just take it. And I've raced with Jay McDonald before, so yeah. So I'll take a look at that. I appreciate it. So hey, Disco. Hey, what's up, Ben? Core League is the YouTube league. Okay, I'll check that out. Kind of like OCRP Racing League. Core League does it. Okay, cool, man. When I get a chance, I'll check it out. So I don't have to explain how awful this is for sim racing, but we shouldn't be surprised. This sort of thing already happened between a real world racing body and motorsport games before. It was last year's 24-hour of Le Mans virtual event run in R Factor 2, a title Motorsport Games acquired. Like I told you guys, these people, their fucking plan from the start was just buy everything, knock out all competition, and corner the market so that desperate people like us, we're just going to buy whatever pile of shit they shovel our way because there's nothing else. There's nothing else. So you got to kind of just try to enjoy it. And it sucks, man, because like just the gaming industry overall, it's fallen so far from what it used to be. and the advent of online gaming and the internet, it's just created a lane for developers to get lazy, to just shovel out unfinished products and then focus on DLC garbage and online stuff like microtransactions. It's just terrible, man. I look back, I honestly wish I could just buy like NASCAR Thunder 2004, but like I think I heard somebody say I can download it. It's some crazy shit, but I'm not really good with PC gaming and figuring out like mods and shit. I really need stuff that's just plug and play and just like legit games that I don't have to mess around with. And how could I make it work with my triple screen setup? Because now anything I play on my racing rig is triple screen, and a lot of games don't support that. So it's just I'm getting off track here. Let me get back on track. But yeah, they cornered the market. This is just fucked up, man. At least iRacing could still offer its community something in that instance. Though, while Motorsport Games held the official event in R Factor 2. Yeah, I guess so. Even though Motorsport Games had the official event, they said that iRacing could still offer something. And that's the thing, man. The exclusivity is just so fucked up. Like, just let everybody do what they want to do. But as I told you guys before, as bad as Motorsport Games is, the real culprits here are these fucking sanctioning bodies, IndyCar and NASCAR, just handing over these ridiculous exclusive licenses. And they do it out of greed because obviously people like Dimitri Kosko is going to say, well, just give us exclusivity and you'll get a bigger slice of the profits. The problem is this company is just pushing garbage. Nobody's going to spend enough money to keep them afloat. So what money is IndyCar going to make? Nothing from a game that doesn't exist yet. And then NASCAR, you saw how things worked out with NASCAR 21 Ignition. How much profit did NASCAR actually make from its licensing, the exclusivity? There's no way they don't fucking wake up every day pulling their hair out, wondering what the fuck, why did they do what they did? I have to believe that. I mean, even NASCAR can't be that dumb. Yeah, exclusivity, man. And it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if I'm NASCAR or IndyCar, I'm just saying, um, giving multiple developers an opportunity to make games, yes. The fact that it's not exclusive means you're going to get a smaller percentage of game sales, but you're going to have multiple options for people. It just sometimes taking a small loss is better than being greedy and then getting nothing. Now, there's two videos that I've been waiting to make before I forget. And, if you guys want to let me know what you think, I know I want to talk about Haley Deegan and her deal and the trucks and stuff. I know that several people have touched on that, and I do have my own thoughts on that. So I'm going to do a video on that maybe this weekend. Also, I want to do a video about broadcasting and the NASCAR. And a lot of people have talked about that, you know, going to streaming services or how NASCAR is going to structure future broadcasting deals and what they're hoping to get. I have a lot to say about that. That is probably going to be a lengthy video, but let me know if you're interested. And so I'm planning on doing a couple of those videos maybe this week coming up when I get a chance, maybe this weekend. So yeah, anyway, getting back to this. Okay, in case we are starting. All right, let me, before I go. NASCAR too dumb to think. We gave them the license. They ain't making a profit. Yeah, NASCAR is dumb. I agree with you. But man, it's even as dumb as they've been and as crazy as some of the decisions they've made, I'm still amazed. Huge corporate entity. This isn't fucking Brian France and a couple of fucking moonshiners, back in the day. All right, it says I got disconnected and it reconnected. Let me know if I'm still live and I'm not talking to myself. Please. Find it funny that NASCAR still goes through iRacing to do track repaves. Chicago Street Course and the LA Coliseum race. Yeah, I get it. But first of all, let me know if I'm still live. This fucking thing disconnected and reconnected by itself. Just give me a. Okay, thank you. Back to this. Yeah, they go to iRacing to do track repave, stuff like that. It's honestly a time cost, time saving, and time. It saves time and it saves money because iRacing does do track scanning and it is a sim. So I don't know. Thank you. Uh, it makes sense. I don't see a big problem with it. Is kind of funny on paper, but I could see them using iRacing for that stuff. I'm not saying they rely on it 100%, but I don't know. That Chicago street course, I hope I'm wrong. I just the chance that that thing is going to be a really great race, I think is slim. We'll find out, I guess. Let me read this article. Let's see, where am I? Motorsport Games won't have an IndyCar game ready until 2024 at the earliest, if it ever comes out at all. Yeah, I don't think it's coming out. iRacing can't run its own race in the interim or even allow the relevant cars to be streamed. It's egregious, and journalist R.J. O'Connell explains it well. As people who've played a lot of sim style driving games can attest, exclusive deals like EA hoarding the rights to Porsche, Toyota, refusing to work with anyone but Sony were all received warmly and produced nothing but good content throughout the scope of their agreements. What? This has to be trolling. But as Pioneer Spine pointed out, at least EA made things with all of their exclusives. What has MG given us other than one busted NASCAR game and a bunch of copyright squatting rights that'll just get fed into a simulator that they didn't originally make? Yeah, thank you. Like I said, copyright squatting rights. That's beautiful. I wish I came up with that. That's perfect. That's what they are. They're a bunch of fucking squatters. They're squatters. And what's sad is they're gonna fucking be able to. They have some bargaining power. I don't want to say they have none. I think when it comes to NASCAR, you know, NASCAR does not have to make a move. NASCAR could tell them, we're just wait you out. What's the worst that can happen? Another fucking year. And I told you guys earlier this year, I told you guys the earliest we're going to see a legit brand new NASCAR game, it's going to be 3 years. I think. I honestly, how is or how are we going to see that unless they magically do come up with a new game? They're not going to be alive long enough to really see it through. I just don't see that. Of course, IndyCar deserves a share of the blame here too, as I just told you today in my earlier video. As does NASCAR. It's their fucking fault. That's exactly what I said. I have to apologize. I can't help myself when it's just those moments of I told you so. Facilitating these airtight exclusivity deals with an unproven publisher attracted plenty of skepticism in the sim racing space at the time each was announced, and pretty much the worst case scenario bore out since. NASCAR 21 was downright unplayable at launch, forcing the team to take a year off to get the franchise on track in 2024. This is all based on their bullshit. I don't think any of that's going to happen. It's the comprehensiveness of these licensing terms that have made them so worrying. Licenses around sports are nothing new in video games. The most infamous is Electronic Arts' ongoing exclusivity agreement with the National Football League. How many times have you heard, guys? I'm telling you, EA and the Madden franchise. I brought this up many times. which kicked in 2005 and knocked 2K games out of the market. 2K was making the best football games back in 2005. They were mopping the floor with EA. 2K snapped up the third party console rights to Major League Baseball a few years later, but has long since bowed out of making baseball simulations. But those were just games. Motorsport Games is wrangling licenses for that purpose. Its 24-hour Le Mans British Touring Car Championship products are still missing in action, by the way, and restricting how and where relevant content can be shown. Yeah, all these people are doing, as that other guy said, they're squatters. All they're doing is blocking other developers from making games. They're just blocking everything, causing a huge delay. But like I said, iRacing, NASCAR, and IndyCar are largely to blame. The racing genre is especially at risk for this. Oh boy, allowing players to run an unofficial version of that event, but without requiring the event's license. Those days may be over. Yeah, the Indy 500 is one thing, but forbidding iRacing players from streaming gameplay involving Indy cars in any context is the draconian extreme of the litigious environment brands and publishers have created together. Deals that will hurt all parties in the long run. Maybe even Motorsport Games. And IndyCar and NASCAR are fools for agreeing to them. Thank you. Wow. This is, yeah, like I've been telling you guys. I don't know what else to say about this shit, but it does seem like the IndyCar community is in for some bad times. You know, welcome to the club. But there is that small window. Like, they did confirm iRacing is still working on a license. We're still working on finalizing a new license. There's the fact that they're still working on it means that I don't know what the fuck does that mean? Because Motorsport Games has exclusivity. So what the fuck? I don't understand, man. Those two things are just clashing with each other, and I really don't know what to say about it. So yeah, let me know if there's anything else you guys want to talk about. I'll hang out for a little longer. There's not a lot of people watching, so yeah, if there's not much else that you guys want to discuss, I don't know. I'll hang out for a little longer and then I'll sign off. But yeah, I wanted to talk a bit about this without making a whole other video. Let me know if you guys are interested in, you know, the Haley Deegan video and the other video. The broadcasting video is, yeah, there's a lot I need to say about that. Check out the tweet. Yes. Hold on a second. Bear with me. Okay, I'm just checking. That's okay. Twitter. Let me get this up. Okay. Public service announcement. When and if the NASCAR Heat 5 DLC comes out, do not, I repeat, do not buy it. That's right, Dylan. Thank you. I still see fucking people say shit like, I don't care, I'm gonna buy it. It's like, man, like this community, there's a lot of kids in here. Man, iRacing made it work somehow for the 2021-22 Mercedes, while Codemasters EA has exclusive rights to the series games. Yeah, that stuff is a bit over my head, man. I don't know. Like that stuff is really involved. I don't know how that works out. You should see how bad diecast fans have it too with Lionel Racing as the only company. Yeah, man. Whenever you got just one fucking company doing everything, then you're at their fucking mercy. Okay, I disconnected for a second. Uh, I think I'm back online. I don't know why this thing every once in a while disconnects and then reconnects, but okay, it looks like I'm still on. Monopolies are bad for everyone but the shareholders. True. But like I said, man, if you got multiple companies making games and you're getting a smaller piece of the pie, but you're getting it from more than one place, is it really that much better? Like, I don't know, man. It's these people that still think the Heat 5 DLC is coming are delusional. It's been almost 3 months. I wouldn't say to see. I don't know why. This is just a feeling. It's not based on anything. I do think if there is anything that Motorsport Games is working on, because they still have some people on the payroll, they got to work and do something. I do think they're working on the DLC for Heat. I just feel like they want to push something out because they know there's lemmings out there that are waiting to buy it, and that's really all they have. If they don't release DLC, like what else do they have? Nothing. And at least with that, they could show people, look, we're still a company doing stuff. So there's something that just a gut instinct that tells me I do think they're going to release the DLC. I just think it's going to come out too late. And it wouldn't surprise me if they don't release it. I'm not saying it's for sure. I'm just saying I have a funny feeling they're going to release DLC at some point. I just hope nobody buys it. If you want a 2022 update, do the 2022 mod for NASCAR 2003. That's a good point, but you got to have NASCAR 2003 to begin with. Uh, it's bad how far diecast quality has fallen. Yeah, quality is always going to fall when you don't have competition. I do designs for Ryan Ellis in the Xfinity series and had a diecast with my scheme on it, and the quality wasn't what I remember. Oh, that's cool, man. You do designs like what, paint schemes? That's cool. All right, let me get to this from Jay McDonald. Today, unfortunately, I'm the bearer of bad news. Per our announcement this morning, broadcasters are no longer permitted to broadcast races utilizing the following three cars effective January 1st. We will forward an update broadcast policy to help reflect the changes. My God, man. You can't fucking broadcast. This isn't like just official iRacing sanctioned broadcast. This is also private, just people running their own leagues and shit, or just doing one-off races and streaming it. That's fucked up. This is fucked up. Motorsport Games deserves all the fucking wrath they're getting. And those of you out there that are still fucking defending these people, it's not a lot of you guys out there, but some of you people are just, you gotta have, why don't you fucking admit you either own stock in this shit or you have, family members that work at this company? I just can't see how anybody would defend them in any way. So you've had paint schemes, I mean, in real life on the racetrack, or you talking about on like iRacing? I'm just curious. Yeah, the stock is trash, but they did a that stock split, and then they also had that 2 million plus cash infusion, and it hasn't made a dent. It hasn't helped at all. Oh, on the racetrack, man, that's fucking cool, man. That's really fucking cool. Good for you, man. I'm curious to know like what fucking cars you've done. Um, I mean, I don't know if this is the place to show all that, but that's pretty fucking cool, man. Yeah. So let me see. Can I? No. Okay. There's nothing else. That's just a screenshot. But yeah. Yeah. It's not a good day for IndyCar guys, man. I feel for you. Keen parts. Oh yeah, I know that. Heartbeat hot sauce. I gotta check that out. I don't remember that one, but that's fucking cool, man. You got a good fucking job. Good for you, man. So, is there anything else you guys want my thoughts on? I don't. Let's see. IndyCar is awful management, and their business decisions for the last have been nothing. Selling all their rights to, yeah. This is yeah, it's fucking bad. I don't follow IndyCar. I'm not an open wheel guy. I don't like, I don't really care for Formula One or IndyCar, so I really don't know much about it. Yeah, I gotta check that out. Heartbeat hot sauce. When I get a chance, I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, I don't know how much more I could talk about this. It is what it is. Another fucking dumbass fucking group of people decided to give an exclusive license to Motorsport Games. So, yeah, the only hope I think for all of us is that Motorsport Games dies. Fucking die already. So, don't give these people your money under any fucking circumstances. That's all I can tell you guys. Yeah. So, I'm gonna hang out for a few more minutes. Okay, got a question. Just go off topic. Favorite ever of NASCAR? I guess I would say the first uh early 2000s, right? Early to mid 2000s. Um Obviously the racing was great. It was a lot about handling, uh tire wear. You didn't have these cars in bunches. I fucking hate pack racing. And it just feels like once NASCAR started going in that direction and just looking for ways to manipulate the racing, it's not the same. And I know a lot of people out there hate to see cars spread out like fucking miles apart, but to me, that's real racing. Like if you have a better car, you have a chance to work on it. If you're not managing your tires, or if just driver talent comes into play. When I think of all those things that make racing great, I'm thinking early to mid 2000s. Um, Also, I would say 80s, 90s was great. Um, I like old school racing as well, but I was too young to really. I wasn't as a hardcore NASCAR guy at the time. Like I was a casual kind of fan, but I don't even remember watching races like on TV. Like it was rare. If turning the channels, you saw a race. I remember a couple of times when I just happened to turning a channel, like, oh shit, look, there's a fucking race, and I just leave it there and I'd watch. But I didn't really get super hardcore into early 2000s, and the reason is because of the video games. This is why it's so important for NASCAR to pay more attention to what they're doing with the licensing and all this stuff. Good video games is good for the sport. It brings new people into the sport. So yeah, I that would be the time where I became hardcore, and the racing was great, early to mid 2000s. And I wasn't crazy about the car itself, like the cars, that Twisted Sister look. The cars all had that same shape, and I wasn't crazy about the look of the car. Like I remember the 80s and 90s. No, not the 90s, but like the 80s. You had cars that still look like real cars that I used to work on and drive and race and all that stuff. Once the cars into the late 90s and early 2000s, the racing was good, but the actual cars didn't look all that great, to be honest. I just didn't like it. It looked like a big plastic Tylenol uh, cap on wheels. So visually, I didn't like the look of the car, but there was a lot I did like the engine sounds and all that was definitely great. But the racing was awesome. So yeah, that I guess early to mid 2000s, that was my favorite. All right, so let's see. I wish it could be full time, but unfortunately, I would have to move to North Carolina. It's hard. We're wife and two kids rooted here. Been at the great job for almost 20 years. Yeah, if you have a great job and you've been at it for 20 years, you know, you don't want to walk away from a sure thing. Just, even if it is to do something as cool as paint schemes and stuff like that. So if you're able to do it part time, I think you have the best of both worlds. Um, yeah, man, that's fucking cool. Good for you, man. So let's see. Waiting for Radman to make a video saying the IndyCar game will be better than iRacing anyway. I promise DK told me it would be. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that guy anymore. I don't want to keep shitting on the guy. Um, it is what it is. Honestly, you're right. For the most guys I know that play 2K are football players that couldn't hoop. LOL. This is such a Hey, what's up, Austin Oganowski? Welcome to the stream. Pray to Santa for a Christmas miracle. Yes, yes. Uh, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It's how much longer can they hold on? I'm starting to just be amazed at how they are able to escape the Grim Reaper. Like every time I think this is it, they're gonna die. This is it. This is the final nail in the coffin. They do something to just drag their feet. They did the 10-1 stock split. That bought them a little time. Then they got an investor to put more money. As I said, I think it's somebody who already had money in there, and they're like I said, gamblers think this. That's the way gamblers think. I'm gonna double down to try to get back some of my losses. There's no fucking way I could see a new investor coming in and just giving them a cash infusion. Just I don't see it. But I don't know, man. They have a talent for fucking like I said, escaping the Grim Reaper. Okay, now I understand your passion a lot bit more. The games were your launching pad to really dive into. Yes, the video games are what really because I'm going back to NASCAR. The original Heat, 2002, I think. NASCAR Thunder, 2003, 2004, 2005. Dirt to Daytona. That that is what made me hardcore because if you're a casual fan, that means you like cars, you like the racing, but you don't really understand everything about the sport. And once you get a taste of it in a video game, that's why I talk about things like presentation, uh, deep and immersive details, right? That invite you to see the inner workings of NASCAR back at the race shop, dealing with sponsors, hiring equipment and crew, how to work on these cars to make them better. All of those things pull you in. So now, if you're just somebody who casually watches a race on TV, but you're actually playing the games are where you actually learn about the sport. And it's the little details that pull you in. At least it was for me. So when I played those games, that's when I fell in love with NASCAR. And it wasn't long after that where I started losing my interest in baseball and stuff like that. So NASCAR became number one for me. And it was because of those video games. And I don't know if it wasn't for those video games, I'm not sure I would have ever been a passionate hardcore fanatic like I am now. So, yeah, let's see. Radman has made a video about this already. I'm going to check it out. What's the situation now? I'm very irritated that nobody took me seriously earlier this year when I uncovered everything about them. I get it. Austin, I don't know if you noticed, but I've been doing these videos for 10 years. I started making videos back with NASCAR Inside Line. And I know what it's like that when you're telling people certain things and nobody's listening. I mean, if you look at it now, I've been doing videos for 10 years and I still only have like 1,500 subscribers. Not that I care. I've never been about that. But I I just wish I could make a bigger impact and I've tried. So a lot of you guys have been with me from the start and you remember. But it is frustrating. Like you're trying to show people certain things and it's tough because this community is full of lemmings. A lot of people just don't they want to believe the same shit. And when I started making videos, I remember arguing with people who were telling me you have to buy the game because that's the only way they're going to make enough money to invest in the next game. That was that fucking crazy shit that I'm going way back to the Eutechnics games. And I would argue with people and tell them, no, that's not how it works. Somebody makes a good product and then you buy it. They have to earn your money. You don't buy a bad product so that the company makes enough money to invest and make better products. That's only been a thought in the video game community. And I've been trying to drill this into people's heads from day one. So I know what it's like when nobody's listening. But um, I could promise you that a lot of people have, since they've heard your message, they've seen your videos, and I've seen in comment sections where people are like, I get it now. So believe it or not, you have been able to, you know, convince people. But, it's tough. You got to have a lot of patience. And there are times, and I can tell you this year has tested me because there have been many times where I think about things I want to talk about or do a video on, and I don't. There's a lot of times I just didn't do a video because when it came time for me to, like, okay, I'm gonna do it, then I just, for some reason, I lose the interest in doing it. It's tough to stay passionate when there's so much negativity going on. So, I get it, man. MSG is a shining example of what is possible when you are bold and crooked. Yeah, that's these fucking con artists, man. It's like that fucking guy, Dimitri. I told you guys I made a video way back earlier this year, and I told you guys this guy has a long history of being the CEO of all kinds of companies that have nothing to do with video games. It's like NASCAR is not a passion of his. Video games have never been his passion. His passion is money. And don't be surprised when he's done here that he's the CEO of some fucking cereal company or something. It doesn't matter. It's wherever he feels he can grift and make money, he's just going to go there. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say nobody, Austin. That's what I said. Yeah, people listen, man. You gotta stay the road. And like I said, I don't have a lot of people that follow me or listen or watch my videos. They're pretty long, so you got to be patient. It's not for everybody, but I feel like the people that are supporters and followers, they've been with me for a long time because they actually care. Like they get it. So I'd rather have a smaller group of people who get it and just we're in the same page than to have like 70,000 subs and it's a bunch of kids who don't know what the fuck's going on and just like anything. And you're doing fucking videos like Radman does. He's doing video. He's done like three or four. I don't know how many videos he's done. He's done a bunch this year. If you notice, you go back and look at some of the titles. It's like this was actually fun. And then it's a race, like one race he found where the AI wasn't fucking a total shit show. And then he makes it like, oh wow, this was really fun. So he's trying to like give you that glimmering hope. Like, hey, there's something here. It's not that bad. And I don't talk about shit like that. I haven't done videos on it because I don't want people to think, hey, I'm just going after this guy because I want to be mean or I'm trying to get attention. That's not what I'm about. I've done 2 videos on Radman and I don't plan on doing more. I really don't. I don't want, but when I made the videos, I felt like they needed to be done. So I want people to understand that. Also, if you enjoy his content, I'm not against that. I would never tell people don't follow him or watch his content. Just understand what you're watching. That's all I want. It's just people just know what you're watching. There's a difference between entertainment and somebody who's giving you honest feedback. That's all I'm going to say. Let's see. Motorsport Games Undertaker of the gaming world. They always seem to rise just when death is looming near. Yeah, that's what I'm fucking saying. These, man, every time I think they're about to, that's why, if you notice, I always try to make it clear that I'm not saying something 100%, and it's just speculation. Like, because they do surprise me every fucking time. It's like, oh, look, they got another $2 million. And it's like, I can't, I know they're on death's door. And I just feel like this is all a big fucking, I'm telling you, this is a game of chicken between Motorsport Games and iRacing. That's my feeling. But I have to leave that 1% window open, just 1%, that they might push out a fucking game in 2023. I can tell you it's not going to be good. God knows what they're planning or what they're fucking doing. But the fact is, they're not showing us anything. If you are legitimately working on another project, you would actually show people something, not some polished fucking screenshot that probably came from Art Factor. And that's what I'm telling people. Don't just believe. They're telling you that it's full speed ahead. Nothing's changed. We're still working on stuff. You gotta show me. You can't just tell me. Okay, let's see. I've been on board with your opinion since the beginning. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't expect people to agree with everything I say. And I tell people, don't just take what I or anyone tells you at face value, right? Do your own research. Use your brain, use logic when you see things. And a lot of people, I think, they go with what they want to be true rather than what logic dictates. In other words, this Motorsport Games company has proven to you time and time again that they're full of shit, and yet there's still people that think, well, they said, this is still coming. They keep telling us they're still working, and they want to believe it, so they decide I believe it because they want it to be true. When deep inside, if they're only using logic, they know that it's bullshit. So, but like I said, even when I tell you stuff, like, use your fucking brain, do your own research, and I welcome people to correct me on anything. My feelings are not going to be hurt if somebody says, "Hey, you're wrong about this, and here's why." But what I do want is, like, if you disagree with me on something, you got to be concise and give me like something where you could show me, okay, this is why you're wrong about something. I could deal with it. In fact, I would be grateful. I don't mind being corrected on something, right? I want everybody to be sort of have this be on the same page, so to speak. And if it means I'm wrong about something and you could correct me, do it. One quick Google search for Dmitry Costco tells you anyone would need to know, and yet people fail to see this coming. He's a used car salesman on a grand scale. Yeah, this is what I've been saying all year. 73. Oh, you must know me from the Eutechnics days. That was my handle, 73 Duster. And that's something that I miss. Like, I will say, what I liked about the Eutechnics era, we had a forum. And I guess forums are outdated now. Everybody's on, other forms of social media, Twitter, all that shit. But I like that layout of the forum because it was all about that game. And it was different sections, and you could go in and you could ask questions. And you had people from Eutechnics once in a while chime in, even though it was bullshit. At least it put on a good show. Also, that's where I had a lot of these arguments with people, with these idiots who were like, "Oh, you have to buy the game no matter what because how do you expect them to make a better game next year?" And that's what kind of pushed me into doing videos because it wasn't enough for me to just type and get into these stupid arguments with people. And I feel like I do talk a lot. I realize that, but I feel like I could get my point across easier than to try to find the perfect words in a small like paragraph. So yeah, I miss the old forums because it was easy for me to navigate, and everybody you could have conversations all day, come back, leave, come back. This is a lot harder for me. This is new, I've done a few streams, and it's always a shit show. So this is, I guess, as good as I can do. But yeah, 73 Dustin. So Decatur player must be from the Eutechnics forums. That's my old handle. All right, Austin. We found the guy being sued for securities fraud. Actually got a bit of traction on YouTube, view count, and like NASCAR and IndyCar did nothing. Yeah, well, NASCAR and IndyCar, they got, you know what it is with these corporations. They don't like they're not going to come to social media to gauge the community, right? Now I get it. If I'm a big shot at a corporation, I'm not going to go on fucking social media to get ideas or to gauge or to see what they're thinking. But it is smart if they actually, if you're in game development, or like I said, your NASCAR and IndyCar, they need to gauge what the community's thinking. They should pay people simply just to community managers or whatever the fuck, but people that actually are invested in gauging what we think, what we want. I'm not saying they're going to turn around and just do whatever we say, but you got to have at least a surface level of that. Otherwise, the decisions you make, you're clueless about the community. So, how are you going to be successful? It's like NASCAR had no idea of how bad the NASCAR gaming community feels these products have been since the Eutechnics era, since the end of the EA era. So they work these stupid deals, and then they're just absent from the whole process. So they really don't know what's going on. And it took a spectacular implosion of like NASCAR 21 Ignition to get their attention. Like that's when the first time we heard NASCAR even a rumor that they were going to pull the license, which we haven't heard about since. Like I said, I do think Brian France has something to do with it. He's a major investor in Motorsport Games. I did a video on that. If you haven't seen it, go look for it. But yes, um, they're uninvolved. They're clueless. If NASCAR IndyCar were smart, they'd be talking to their lawyers immediately to find a way out. See, I was always of the belief that when you structure these deals, like any legal document or contract, there has to be an out clause of some kind. I can't believe that they are trapped in these massive licensing deals with no way out. That's mind-boggling to me that that could be the case. We don't really know. This all could be. Remember, we're only hearing from Motorsport Games and iRacing. We're not really getting details of these licensing deals in like nobody's going to post like the licensing deal. This is something only they know about. So we have to keep that in mind. And I have to believe somewhere there's a way out. Can't wait to buy a box of Costco's at Walmart. Part of a balanced breakfast. Yeah, I'm telling you, don't be fucking surprised if this guy is the CEO of some fucking cereal company. I'm telling you. It sounds funny, but I see it. I'm shocked that Motorsport Games got this deal with Indy and took it away. I think, well, this is not a new deal. This deal happened, I think, early on, before we saw the disaster of NASCAR 21. I don't know for sure, but this isn't a deal that I was made now. So we got to keep that in mind in all fairness, even though it's still a dumb thing to go to a company that's never made games before and even do structure a deal like this. Um, it had to be before the disaster of Ignition. Yep, and thank you, Austin. He just said it. See, the deal with IndyCar was signed long ago. It's just now that we realize how devious it was. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. I genuinely wonder what sort of legalese they had to use in the paraphrasing that deal where they were able to pull the rug out from under something as big as iRacing. Yeah, I just think it's two separate things. I think iRacing has I don't think the deal that iRacing has is a video game type of deal. Because remember, iRacing is not a video game, it is a service. And it's a continuous service. Also, there's a lot of things that video games have to provide that are tied up in licensing that iRacing isn't tied up in. iRacing doesn't give you like IndyCar drivers, official license, real guys. It doesn't give you the official sponsors and paint schemes. They give you the vehicles and the tracks. Correct me if I'm wrong. But iRacing, it's sort of a partial license, so to speak. When you make a video game, you also have to have all of these other parts, right? You got to have the sponsors on board. You got to have the drivers, right? That's what makes the video game more of a complete product. And like I said, iRacing is not a video game. It's apples and oranges. I've always said that. So I'm not sure how that works. Oh, what's up? What if? Good to see you. DK didn't know of this IndyCar content. Yeah, man. Fucking DK. Fuck that guy. I'm no fan of Motorsport Games. Also, don't have any love lost for iRacing either. Austin has been pointing out their BS numerous videos. Yeah, I've seen some of that. I've told you guys. For me, iRacing, if you take it for what it is, um, it's okay for me. But I have pointed out more than once. I warn people, if you're looking for a substitute for the lack of having a solid, just fully fleshed out NASCAR video game, you're not going to get that with iRacing. You're not. That's not what iRacing is meant to be. And for what it is, I feel iRacing is incredibly overpriced. It is insanely overpriced. Also, I am no fan of the double dip business model. Double dipping means there's two forms of profiteering. So it's a service, they charge you a monthly fee, but then they also just sell, they sell you assets or content as DLC. So if you want to, you got to buy the car. Even though you're already paying a monthly subscription fee, every time there's a new car or track, if you want it, you have to buy it. And it's not cheap. It's not $2 or $3. I mean, honestly, you could charge 99 cents and you would still make a profit because it's a fucking digital, it's not a product that requires uh, supplies or materials. It's a fucking digital product. And once you make one, everything is a copy. So why are you fucking charging $11 to $13 for a fucking track or a car? And if you add up all the shit, man, I'm telling you, it's well over $500. It's a lot of money. And to me, either you are going to be a product you sell or a service that you charge a monthly fee. I don't think you could do both. And iRacing has gotten away with this forever. And it's amazing how few people realize that this is a rip-off business model, this double dipping between selling people the cars and tracks and still charging you a monthly fee. The monthly fee should mean you get everything that's available in the service. But no, it's crazy. The one guy who has the most influence in our community, who could have the largest reach, is doing the most harm to us by not accepting the truth. That's my point. See, it's not personal. When I see somebody like Radman has over 70,000 subs, when he does videos, he gets a lot of views. He's getting access to things a lot of us do not get access to. I feel like you have some responsibility. And and he consistently says he wants better games. I do believe that he wants better games, but I don't think he understands that what he's doing actually gets in the way of that. So, um, my thing is, if you have that kind of following, if we were all on the same page, I'm not saying he has to listen to me. He doesn't have to listen to me, but I'm saying if as a community everybody was on the same page, man, I think we could have a bigger impact. When I say something, it's barely a pebble in the fucking pond, right? Now I do take a moment to recognize people like What If Racing, who has personally supported me, and he's taken things I've said, and he's taken that baton and he's done what he could. He has a much larger audience than I have. So I do want to commend people like What If Racing in particular, um, who have shown support and actually taken that message. I don't care about getting credit about anything. If you agree with something I'm saying, or you think I have a good idea, or I'm making a solid point, I'm telling anybody out there who does videos or talks about these things in a social space, feel free to take the things I say. You don't have to fucking give me credit. You don't have to. I don't care. To me, it's about the message. And if you have a larger audience, take it and run with it. The more people that listen to the message, the better things will be. Instead of having, and that's what bothers me, man. It's like you it only takes one guy, and it's the guy with the most fucking followers, and it's just it's I don't get it, man. I don't want to say anything else. I really don't want to. If they get the license deal after this Motorsport Games crap, you can kiss PC supporting games goodbye. Yeah, I don't fucking know what they're. I don't know. iRacing isn't all it's cracked up to be. I've been pretty outspoken about my gripes in the past, but for an IndyCar fan, they just went from mediocre sim to no games at all. I'm telling you, man. Um, yeah, this is fucking terrible, man. I do feel for the IndyCar community. They haven't had a fucking game. Like all they have is iRacing. Hopefully that this licensing deal that iRacing is working on, they're able to do something. I don't unless they're willing to step up and offer, Motorsport Games something, but I just think Motorsport Games, they're going to be greedy. They're going to try too hard to squeeze what they can instead of, honestly, the only real player out there is iRacing. I don't see anybody else coming to the rescue. And I told people, forget about Codemasters. This isn't the Codemasters from days past. They are owned by EA. EA is one of the worst game developers out there. They are greedy. They care about are microtransactions and DLC. And I promise you, they are going to destroy the Formula One franchise. So, like I've said before, if you're a Formula One fan, be grateful that you got. Now, I heard the last game was already a step down, but if you go back to the one from 2 years ago or three, I can't say for sure. Man, that looked like a good game to me, and it looked like the type of game I want to see in a NASCAR game with all those features, with the race shop, with all the personnel and all the testing and all the tuning and all the fucking RPG elements and the presentation. It just looked like such a good game. Um, I didn't get the game. I'm not into open wheel cars. I'm sorry, I'm not into it. But from the outside looking in, it looked like such a good product. But just be grateful. If you're a Formula One guy, You could still play that game. It's still a fresh game for the most part. Um, if the rosters and all that shit is kind of outdated, who cares? Um, but yeah, don't. The games are going to get worse from this point forward. iRacing knows modding will render them obsolete, so they will stick to consoles only. Look at World of Outlaws. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with World of Outlaws. Looks like a solid game. It's not on PC. That's a big red flag for me. I wish if it was on PC, I would have got it because I would, I got my wheel, my fucking. Even though the motion simulator wouldn't work, but it still works as a stationary rig. I got my triple screens. I would have, I would have gave it a shot. I'm not a dirt guy. I'm not a huge fan of World of Outlaws or that type of dirt racing. But I from what I see and hear, and I've seen a lot of videos. I have watched What If Racing's videos, by the way. I don't always comment, but the game looks like fun. It does have a pretty well-rounded look to it. Um, all of this wasn't realized until iRacing IndyCar license negotiation. What will they discover during the NASCAR negotiation? Um, there is no NASCAR negotiation because of I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think everything is resting on how much longer can Motorsport Games um, hold on. That's all it is right now. It's like these motherfuckers refuse to die. I think that you know how they say evil people live longer, and I just think this company is such a cancer, but it's one of those cancers that it's gonna fucking linger and just make everyone suffer for as long as possible. That's why I tell people don't give these people your fucking money. Believe me, we've been through all this shit. You don't need their fucking DLC to Heat 5 or anything else. That's the only way these guys are going to finally fucking die off when there's no more money. And then they're not going to have a choice. You know, right now, they're doing everything in their power to drag their feet and stay alive long enough to try to, up that asking price. The deal with MSG and IndyCar took place this past summer. IndyCar confirmed this. Yeah, I mean, this past summer means they had plenty of time to fucking see the disaster. So it just makes IndyCar look even worse. They must be fucking insane. They have to be. And unless there's people within IndyCar at the upper levels that are invested in motorsport games, that's the only way I could see this. And just like I told you guys with Brian France and that Falcon investment company that he's the CEO of, that owns a large chunk and stake in motorsport games, that's this is why I get, this is speculation of course, but why would they fucking do this? I mean, it didn't take long for people to see how fucked up this company is. Wow. Hey, what's up, Giovanni? Just got here. Okay, let's see. I wonder if DK even has 5 people working on these games at this point. I don't know how many people working on the game. I know they've cut people. I mean, how? I don't know, man. It's just crazy. And if they do have a handful of people, I promise you, it's probably work. They're just working on that NASCAR 85 DLC. If they don't release that, I don't see what. How are they going to release anything else? I don't see it. iRacing, you can create drivers and a roster with their AI system and put them in any paint scheme you wish. It's very customized. iRacing is not cheap though. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes, you can do a lot of things, right? It took me a while just to figure out how to do some of this stuff. Um, but yeah, you can do things with iRacing, and I, there's a lot to like about the service. I don't want people to think that it's not a good service. It's overpriced, and that's my main gripe. it's way, way too expensive for what it is. And if you charge, make up your fucking mind. If you're if you're gonna sell iRacing like it's a game or a sim, and then just charge people DLC for every new car and track, do that. Or if you're gonna be a service where you charge a monthly fee, do that. But they're doing both. That is a double dip business model. To me, that's a ripoff. And I'm just really surprised. I haven't seen anybody talk about that. Um, and it's almost as if the community, you want to talk about a community of lemmings. I think iRacing is full of, I'm not saying everyone, but that community just kind of accepts it for what it is. Sadly, but I don't have anything else. So iRacing, yeah, if I didn't have iRacing, I wouldn't have anything. Um, and I got a motion sim. I spent a lot of money on that, and I do enjoy it. That really ups the enjoyment for me. Um, I don't know, man. It's tough times if you're somebody who's into racing games. It's just pretty shitty. Thank you, What If. I appreciate it. Um, I enjoy What If's content. So do I. Uh, you know, I enjoy people that are honest. And like I said, if you watch people just because you always agree with them, I don't think that's not a good reason to really follow people. For me, I don't have to agree with everything someone says, whoever it is. But if they make me think, if I feel like what they're talking about is insightful to me, even if I don't agree with everything, that I watch people like that, right? And I think a lot of people fall into this bubble mentality where they only want to listen to people that always tell them what they want to hear. It's like politics. And to me, that is dangerous. And it doesn't help you grow. And if all you care about is your tribalist mentality and just feeding into that, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. So, yeah, man, we got some good people in the community. Unfortunately, uh, I mean, I want to see, man, it just sucks. It just sucks. Like, this 10 fucking years of crappy games. And yes, NASCAR Heat 4 and 5 were decent. But man, it's just compared. It's only because of the comparison to much worse games. Um, we're so far behind. I've been watching your video since Heat Evolution. Wish you had a bigger audience to speak to. Yes, like I want people to understand. Like I'm not frustrated because I don't. I'm not somebody who asks for subscribers. I never ask anybody to like or subscribe. I don't do it like for attention. I really care about the things I talk about. Um, and for that reason only, I wish I had a bigger audience because then I could reach more people. But it is what it is. I'll keep doing this as long as I can. And I can't promise that there's going to be a time where I just get fed up. Once I feel like I'm just swimming against the tide and it's like it's really a big waste, I could, I don't know. But I still feel passionate about what I'm talking about. There's still things I could talk about. So for now, I'm still somewhat enthusiastic to talk about these things. We all love what if. Yes, been watching your disco since your Technics days, man. Yeah, it's been a while, man. You guys have watched me get much older. I mean, I'm 52 now. I mean, I started when I was 42. I can't. I wear glasses now. Been following Disco around for 2 years. Can say I'm glad that I pre-ordered it. Thank you for not pre-ordering or purchase Ignition. I know several people that pre-ordered. Yeah, it's frustrating, man. I told people don't pre-order. And hopefully those people who did pre-order don't repeat that mistake. Now, it doesn't matter if it's Motorsport Games or any other company. Even if it's a company that has made good games. you're not hurting the company by waiting a few days. And that's my point. Pre-ordering is unnecessary. Pre-ordering used to be something like when people still bought a lot of physical copies, and there might be a game that's so popular that you might not even get a copy on the same day. I remember standing online for fucking Grand Theft Auto 4. Um, but it's not like that anymore. You like I've said this before. You could be in your fucking underwear sipping coffee, and the moment the game is released, you download it. There's no point in pre-ordering. Why would you ever commit your money to something before you know what it is? And that's what I'm trying to get people to break that. Um, you're not hurting them, right? If the game turns out to be good and you see a lot of people enjoying it, and you get people in the community, not just myself, but other people say, "Hey, man, this is pretty fucking good. Uh, it's safe to buy it." Then you buy it. It's just a matter of one fucking week. That's all I'm telling people. Like, nobody's telling you don't buy the game. It's the pre-ordering. That's you're just giving your money to these people, and you're rewarding a bad business model. Honestly, the only way for a good NASCAR indie game, if fan made a generic game with no licensing. Thank you. And I've been saying this shit forever. The video I dropped earlier today, if you've seen it, in the description box, I dropped in a video that I made 3 years ago. And I was talking about that. That's the fucking licensing is a pain in the ass. Me, if let's say I hit the lotto and I had so much money and I could just go hire some game developers and create a game, I would create a fantasy stock car racing game that would be modeled after NASCAR, but it wouldn't be NASCAR. It wouldn't be licensed. It wouldn't have the sponsors. It would be total fantasy drivers, paint schemes, uh, even the racetracks, right? You could make a Pocono track that's the same exact layout, but you change the grandstands and all the other stuff, so it's not the same track. You don't need licensing to make a good game. The licensing is really just to sell. And if a developer out there really wants to make a NASCAR game, but the licensing makes it impossible, just make a fantasy game. I personally wouldn't care. I don't care if the game is just fantasy drivers, cars, and tracks. As long as the physics and the AI resemble what a solid NASCAR game should be, and it's a good looking game and it has presentation and lots of details and a deep career mode and good presentation and all of the things I've talked about through the years, I would pay $100 for that. I shouldn't have said that. That's not a good thing to say out loud, but I don't. You think I care that it's NASCAR? You think I care that fucking whether Denny Hamlin's in the game? I don't care. But the licensing's an issue. And I did a video from 3 years ago, and I put it in the description box. Go check it out if you haven't. Honestly, okay. Let me see. I'm going to hang out for a little longer before I sign out. Yes. This time you guys are coming from iRacing. It's just the lesser of all evils. I get it. Yeah, I mean, look, man, I do enjoy iRacing. It's just like that fucking business model's real suspect. Hey, what's up, Mr. Mike? How you doing? Yeah, we're just fucking talking about all this garbage. Turns out IndyCar, uh, you know, they have iRacing's losing the license. They're working on something, but because Motorsport Games has exclusivity, there's a whole shit show. More of what we've seen on the NASCAR side of things. That's basically how I feel. Wish each series had dedicated games outside of iRacing. I hate the stranglehold they have on the industry, but removing series without an alternative isn't good. Yeah, I mean, it's fucked up, man. I used to race online back in the EA NASCAR days, such as a racing league. Wow, that must have been NASCAR '09, which a lot of people do like. Once you Technics came on the scene, we said screw this, and all of us got iRacing. Yeah, iRacing really. I mean, not iRacing, you Technics. Yeah, they really they pissed me off so much. That's what got me making video games to begin with. Never went back to console again. Very true, Disco. Just because I don't agree with you on everything, that's okay. You seem to love Disco, even though we both know Latin freestyle is a real jam. Yeah, yeah, man. That's what I mean. It's like it's really about getting your fucking brain like to just open up your mind and think. And if you disagree, get into the process of thinking about why you disagree with things and then maybe look into things on your own. And that's a good thing. It's never a bad thing. Like, just following people that only because you hear that they're feeding you what you want to hear all the time is not healthy. But yeah, I love disco music. I love a lot of forms of music. Yeah, man, I've been a music man all my life. Let's see. I move on from racing games. I play GTA. Yeah, man. I love Grand Theft Auto, but um, yeah, I just want fucking Grand Theft Auto 6 to come out already. I kind of I took a long break off of GTA 5, but I did a lot of racing on there, and I did enjoy that. It's fun. Video games are the number one form of entertainment, and NASCAR doesn't understand that. That's right, and it's just amazing to me. It's like that the thing that NASCAR is going through right now. They're losing uh they're losing a lot of viewership, right? Not just on TV, but just people following the sport. A lot of people are just walking away for a lot of reasons. And the things that they've been focused on have been the wrong things. Like they are starting to go in a different direction. Like to me, this past season was a really, really good season. Just my opinion. Um, some of the races were really bad, but my favorite tracks are mostly the mile and a half tracks, and that has been so much better. Pack racing has always sucked, and I don't see how it's ever not gonna suck. That's just a personal preference thing for me. And they can do things to improve the short tracks, but before this year, like NASCAR just constantly pushing for more and more pack racing, that's really hurt things. So getting back on track, um, and focusing more on video games. Like they don't have to get involved with the actual game development, but you have to know what deals you're signing. Having a good, solid video game is a gateway for a lot of casual people. I'm telling you, I cannot be the only person that fell in love with the sport because of the video game. So yeah, man, it's fucking important. Kind of makes me sad that some of my favorite childhood memories came from Thunder series, and kids today don't get fun games. That's right. There's an entire generation of people that don't have a clue of how great those games were. That's why the most excited I've been in a long time is just iRacing even teasing people that like asking people how they would feel about a Dirt to Daytona, like remake, or at least, a modern version. And that kind of stuff excites me. It's like, fuck yeah, I want to see something like that. So I really think the community needs something like that. And who knows, man. It's a question with all of your companies wanting more but giving less. What's your crystal ball outlook for GTA 6? Yeah, unfortunately, and I'm a huge Rockstar fan, um, I think they're going to deliver a really good game. Like, I'm not worried about the quality, and I feel like whether the game is 60 or 70 bucks, I got no problem giving Rockstar that kind of money when I know that game's going to be good. But I don't think if I'm going to you're asking me for a crystal ball prediction, I'm going to say this. I think we're going to see less of a story and like offline. I think it's going to be more structured for online. I think that Grand Theft Auto 5 opened the floodgates for them with the shark cards and all the microtransactions. And once that happened, there's no going back. So I do think that game's going to be structured more for online. Like it's going to have a story mode, and I still think it's going to be good. I just don't think it's going to be as big of a story. Like in terms of how many missions and chapters and stuff like that. It's going to be a little more condensed, but it's going to be a great game. And I'm curious about the online. Like there is a lot more you can do with that type of game. And they did. There are rumors. I shouldn't say they said it, but there's rumors that that game is supposedly built to last at least a decade. So the days of every 2 or 3 years getting a new game, that's not going to happen, and it hasn't happened. But yeah, when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, that's it. That's going to be it for quite a long time, and they're going to milk the shit out of it with microtransactions. And one of the reasons I stopped playing GTA 5, I haven't played that game in almost 2 years, over 2 years actually, and it's because it's just they kind of ruined it. They've added so much over the top weapons and vehicles, and it's a lot more like Saints Row than GTA, and I think that hurts it. And I kind of wish they would dial it back to what it used to be. Um, Sometimes less is more, but yeah, I predict it's going to be a great game. It's going to break records in terms of game sales. There's no doubt about it. Um, but yeah, they're going to give you less. Like it's going to be less story mode and offline content, and it's going to be really more of what you see GTA Online. That's my prediction. But I look forward to it. I can't wait to see it. But it looks like it's still a few years away. Picture a kid getting 21 ignition for Christmas pains me. A lot of kids last Christmas, that's what they got. The winning you're in format is awful. Agreed. Shame Truex is out for Dylan, who was lucky to avoid a wreck because of rain taking everyone out. I agree. Got to get rid of winning for your in. Winning for your in. That was dumb. Winning you're in. I never like that. It's a gimmick. People can win a race and have a really shitty year. I don't think if even if you win a race, winning a race is a big deal. But it shouldn't override a horrible year. That's why you have points, right? I still support a playoff system. I know a lot of people want to go back to the old point system. I do not. Um, I am of the belief that a playoff system can work if you execute it correctly. NASCAR went the wrong direction. One, the winning you're in. Terrible idea. I would get rid of that. I would also, I think they watered it down. Too many people in the chase. I would bring it back to 10, maybe 8 drivers. The top 10 in points gets in. And I don't want to see it all come down to one race. I think that it should be, let's say maybe, I'm just freeballing it. It could, this is not an exact science, but let's say after the first 5 races, the bottom 6 drivers are eliminated, right? In points. And now the last 4 battle it out for the last 5 races. And it's a points battle. So it's a combination of all of the last 5 races between four drivers. Points. Now, if you want to give more points for winning races, I'm okay with that. But no automatic winning you're in. And like I said, it should be a points thing, and that's the way I would do it. Playoff system can be a lot better. And it was better. If you look at the first, when they first introduced it, it was way better than what it is now. And it only had 10 drivers, and it was prestigious. Now you got 16 fucking drivers. That's almost half the fucking field. Um, that's not good. So that's how I feel about that. They might get 21 for Christmas because the base game is at $9 on Xbox. I don't care if it's free. Nobody should get that. Unless you fucking hate your kids, why would you I mean if you hate somebody, I would that's a shitty gift. I'm going to say GTA 6 can't live up to the hype. People have been waiting 10 years for almost for a new game, and now the sequel has achieved a type of mythos. No matter how good it is, it won't be enough. Well, if you're, I will say, yeah, there are some people have unrealistic expectations, but that's the way it is. But living up to the hype, I guess it really depends on who you are. I I think the hype is more or less coming from the community. Rockstar hasn't really shown much, but Rockstar always delivers to me. That's just my opinion. Some of the best games ever made have come from Rockstar. They've proven they know what they're doing. Red Dead Redemption 2 to this day is, in my opinion, the best game ever made. Just my opinion. I still play that game. Um, I've done the story mode 3 times already, and I'm in the middle of another one. I just love that fucking game. There's so much to love. Um, I don't know what to say, but I think it's going to be a good game. I don't see how they could fail. But the hype, yeah, some people do get carried away. Maybe they're expecting a game that looks like fucking real life. To me, that's a bit too far. Elder Scrolls 6 has the same problem on a larger scale. They waited too long to make a new one. These people, once they see that people are willing to give them money, they're not going to rush. That's why we don't have a GTA 6, because they're still making a fucking mint off of GTA 5. And as long as they're making money, what's the rush? So when people stop giving them their money for GTA 5 shit, they'll fucking push the other game out. That's it really boils down to that. Agreed 100%. Those sci-fi weapons and crap really took me out of the game. I don't mind being killed. I have an issue with being killed by space gamma ray orbital cannon. Thank you. And how about those fucking stupid those flying bikes? The oppressor. That's a perfect name for that bike because it oppresses you, and it's depressing. Well, depressing is a different word, but it's oppressive to you as a gamer. I yeah, it's ridiculous. And if you remember back in the old Saints Row days, it's like Saints Row was that the baby brother that was trying to impress the big brother. So they would do outlandish shit. It was over the top, crazy. And I actually enjoyed the first two Saints Rows. But then after that, it got so over the top, so crazy. I just couldn't enjoy it anymore. It's ridiculous. And GTA 5 became that. It became like Saints Row. That's what it reminds me of. And it's really, really tough to enjoy. And it's really all about microtransactions. They'll add like that orbital cannon, and you need $1 million to use it. I think one time. I haven't played in a long time. I don't know if they changed that, but you know how many kids with parents that don't give a shit, that let them do whatever they want, buy shark cards just for garbage like that? Disagree wholehearted. Feel playoffs don't make sense when every competitor is at every race. But I respect you enough to see the valid sides. Yeah, you're not the only one that disagrees with me. A lot of people just don't like the playoffs. They don't accept it. They want to go back to the way it used to be. I do remember when, for me personally, just there was something missing for me at the end of the year. Like I didn't like the old point system. Um, I'm just saying there are ways to tweak the playoff system to where it makes more sense, where it's more fair. I don't like it the way it is now. I agree with a lot of people on that. But like I said, you can make it a mini point system run. And I just I feel like every legitimate sport has some form of playoffs. I'm talking about team sports. And this is a team sport. You know, it's not just about the driver, but I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. I just feel like if there are ways to fix it, and if it was fixed, I think people would enjoy it. They would. They. It's NASCAR fucked it up so bad that it makes people want to just blow it up, and I think it's a mistake. But hey, I get it. Uh, respect rescinded. RDR1 was way better. Listen, man, Red Dead Redemption 1 is also one of the greatest games ever made. But I'm sorry. I feel like Red Dead Redemption 2 is better. Not by a lot, but it's great. I mean, who it's those two games are just fucking amazing. I don't care really. Um, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be 8 o'clock. So I've been doing this a while now. I want to thank everybody who showed up for the live stream. And like I said, I'm gonna sometime this in the next few days, maybe this weekend, I'm gonna do a Haley Deegan video talking about the upcoming season, my thoughts on her in the truck series and that stuff. I do have some things to say about that. And also I want to talk a bit about the future of NASCAR's and the broadcasting deals and what's possibly going to happen. I noticed other people talking about this stuff on social media, and I have my own thoughts on that. So those are my next two videos, unless something comes up with Motorsport Games or the video game side of things. So yeah, thank you, man. I hope everybody has a good night. I appreciate everybody coming. But those are my next two videos, unless something changes. And yeah, later.